isn't just when you thought it was safe. It is absolutely, positively not. And especially on tonight. This is something new that I'm doing with the Thaddeus Matthews Show, where I'm going out into the studio. Besides my studio, I'm doing impromptu interviews. And we're starting off, I guess, with the top. My guest tonight is Jimmy. In my younger days, we called him J-Mac. J-Mac, Memphis' own, the first drug kingpin of Memphis, who was sentenced to a life sentence, but did 27 years. 27 years in federal prison. Let's get into this story. Jimmy, first of all, welcome. Thank you for this interview. And we've talked about this interview, years ago. I remember getting a packet from Jimmy 10, 15 years ago at a radio station. I didn't know who Jimmy Townsend was. I knew who J-Mac was. I went to the club. I knew all the stories, the street stories about J-Mac. But Jimmy, who is J-Mac?
J-Mac as of now?
Yeah. Yeah.
First of all, thank you for having me on the show. But who is J-Mac now?
Yeah,
Now,
who is
remember-
J-Mac now? But I guess we have to also talk about who was J-Mac then.
Then, yeah, that's right, because the J-Mac then is dead now.
Okay.
So it's really just Jimmy, and really I go back, that's a story in itself, where Jimmy and Jim, because technically my birth name is Jim.
Okay.
It's Jim L. And, but that's another story in itself. So, but I changed it personally to Jimmy because to me, Jim was a slave name.
Okay.
So, you know, being somewhat militant and, you know, coming up in the Jim Crow era,
Okay.
I didn't like Jim. You know, Jim, and when you read those little books, Run Jim, Jump Sally and all that, it was always Jim. Jim was always associated with a white boy.
Okay.
So that's how Jimmy came up. So, but now, let's get it, because I wear my faith on my sleeve. Jimmy Townsend, Jim Townsend, now is a born-again Christian. I love the Lord, and Jesus Christ is first and foremost in my life. So I want everybody to understand that. And also, Thaddeus, I would like to say, you probably was gonna ask a question anyway, but about this book. In fact, I'm gonna let you go on. You lead. You tell me.
Well, you brought us to who Jim Townsend is now. Born again,
Christian.
saved. God is first in your life.
First in my life, that's right.
But Jim, that was a day. You were known for being notorious in the streets of Memphis. The drug kingpin in Memphis. How did it happen?
How did that happen? Well, it's a long story. In fact, in my book, I take you all the way back. And I want people to know that really, this book it's about my life story. A lot of people are gonna think that it's basically about Steve Harvey and Marjorie Harvey. Everybody know that Marjorie Harvey was my ex-wife. But it's not all about that. Of course, she played an intricate part in my life. So I can't get around that, you see. But it's about my life story, and I thought it was worth telling. And by being in prison, had all the time in the world, 27 years.
Okay.
So I just sat and I wrote, and I was surprised that, because I had never just considered myself as a writer. In fact, I articulate myself better writing than I do just speaking. But I had all the time in the world, so I said, let me write my life story. And before I started, I called, it's 3 women that played some big parts in my life in the drug game. And one of them was Marjorie, and the other one was my son's mother, Lola, and my first wife, Lisa.
Okay.
Well, before I started writing the book, I called each and every one of them. And I asked them, did they have a problem with me writing my book? And each one of them said no. And just for the record, Marjorie said, and in fact, I remember exactly where she was. She was in Aspen, Colorado when I contacted her. And I called her and told her about I wanted to write my book, and did she have a problem with it? And, you know, she nonchalant just said, no problem. Go ahead, do yours. That's your life. So that's what I did. So I just want to set the record straight as far as I don't want nobody to think that this book is written out of vindictiveness or nothing like that. No. In fact, I wrote this book 13 years ago. You know, like I said, I had all the time in the world, so I wrote it 13 years ago, Thaddeus. And surprisingly, you know, read a lot of books and everything. So, and I think I did a pretty good job, but I put the book on the shelf when I got out of prison. I don't know if I'm going too fast for you. Am I right? I put the book on the shelf when I got out of prison. Right? It was done. The book was written. And so when I came out, because my whole thing was to bond with my family, you see, with my kids, because I've been gone 27 years. So that's a long time. So my whole thing was to bond with family, you know. And I'm thankful that I had a beautiful structural family when I came out that was in my corner that rode with me all the way through those 27 years in prison. So I said, well, you know, I'm going to go on and do my book. But my kids, by Marjorie, they got really upset. Because in their mind, they thought that I was writing a book that throw their mother under the bus.
Okay.
Yeah. But like I just said, it wasn't about Marjorie. And I also want the record to know that, you know, I love Marjorie, not from a love perspective of his wife, but as a friend, still as a friend, even though what I've gone through with her since I've been out of prison.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
So when we talk about what you went through with Marjorie since you've been out of prison, let's go to this factor. You've been out of prison since 2017.
That's right.
You got a pardon by President Obama.
That's right.
The myth, the story was out there that Steve Harvey and Marjorie were responsible, had hands on with the president of getting you the pardon. Is that true or not?
Well, that's a bald-faced lie. No. In fact, and to be perfectly honest, Steve Harvey did have a chance, a beautiful chance of getting me pardoned.
Okay.
Or clemency, rather.
Okay.
Because he was very close to Obama.
Okay.
I asked my daughter, which is Morgan. I asked Morgan, I said, Morgan, listen, you know, they're doing clemencies now. And I'm in a good position because of your stepdad to, you know, get me clemency. He can make it happen. Because it was making other inmates happen. I know for a fact. I had a friend that had a life sentence just like me. He was put in for clemency. The governor of the state, just so happened, he had somebody that was real close to the governor of the state. And the governor of the state put in words for him, you see, and he got clemency.
Okay.
So my mindset and my thought was that Steve Harvey was in a beautiful position to, you know, you say you love my children, you see, and you know my children love their dad. So I just knew he was going to do that because he was in a position to do that. But when I told my daughter about that, she said, Dad, this was exactly what she told me. She said, if I gave him the paperwork, he's going to throw it under the carpet.
He did what?
He would throw it under the carpet. Otherwise, flush it down the toilet because he was nothing about helping me, you see. And so that kind of messed me up too because.
So let's clear the air. Steve Harvey never made any steps to help Jim.
Oh no, none whatsoever.
Is there any type of relationship between you and Steve Harvey?
No, not at all.
Okay. When you got out of prison, were there any communications made with you and Marjorie?
No, not whatsoever.
Okay.
And the story goes. Let me, because the name of my book is Jimmy
Snakes
Town.
in the.
Snakes in the Garden.
Okay.
The untold story.
Okay.
Now I'm here to tell the story.
Okay.
No. As far as Marjorie, for 27 years.
Okay.
27 years. No, well, I said for 21 years. I talked to Marjorie anytime I wanted to. For 20-some years, she brought the kids to visit me. I'm gonna let people draw their own conclusion. I'm just gonna
Okay.
tell the truth, the story.
Okay.
For 20-some years, Marjorie, when I got that life sentence, we came to agreement. Hey, you go on with your life. You're a young woman, and I'm an older man, and I got an uphill battle to fight. You see what I'm saying? Because I got a life sentence without the possibility of parole. And so, but we just be friends, and we just got 2 kids together. You know, you call it co-parent, but I don't, because I'm in prison, so there's nothing I can do. In fact, Marjorie told me, she said, Jimmy, you done left me here with 2 kids, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make sure they have what they need. That was her words to me. So, but anyway, long story short, for 20-some years, I could call that woman anytime, day or night. In fact, even when she got married to Donnell, everybody got Donnell, daughter being my daughter, Lori and all like that, but she's not. So, but anyway.
Lori is not your daughter.
Lori is not my daughter.
Okay. Is Donnell a relative of yours?
No, he's not.
Okay.
He's not a relative. They got that. That's my cousin. They got everything screwed up.
Right.
No, Donnell's not my cousin. I've never seen Donnell except on a picture.
Okay.
Okay, so, but I did talk to Donnell while he was married to Marjorie.
Okay.
We talked, and I thanked him for looking out for my kids, and blah blah blah, street thing, because he was in the streets too. So it was just a street thing, love, respect.
Right. He was in the drug game.
Yes, he was.
Okay. You have been in the drug game. So she went from one drug dealer to the next drug dealer.
Well, yeah, she did.
Okay.
I mean,
And there is no family relationships with you and the Woods.
none whatsoever.
Okay. Okay.
No.
That clears up a big story because the story has been that Donnell was your cousin and she went from one family member to the next family member.
Well, let me clarify that now, how they got that all screwed up, because she used to date Ronnie Woods.
Okay. Is Ronnie and Donnell brothers?
No, they're cousins.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
cousins.
Okay.
I think they're first cousin, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But they are cousins.
And everybody in Memphis knows that Ronnie was a notorious drugster or kingpin also in the streets of Memphis, especially the South Memphis areas.
Well, let me say this, and that's how I met Ronnie. I met Ronnie through Marjorie.
Okay.
Marjorie hooked me up with Ronnie. I used to sell Ronnie kilos. So he came up from, through me. And I'm not trying to glorify nothing as far as when it comes to drugs.
Okay.
It's not about glorifying.
Jimmy, was Marjorie in the drug game?
Yes, she was.
What role did Marjorie Harvey play in the drug game here in the streets of Memphis?
She was like a lieutenant to me, you could say. She's just my right-hand man. She was my wife, and she wanted to, she ended up getting in the game with me, long story short. And yeah.
Did she make sales?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she did that.
Okay.
I think a lot of people in Memphis knew that. That's no big secret.
Okay.
You know.
Well, nationally, and this story will be going national, people don't see Marjorie Harvey as an ex-drug mama. Okay? Mm-hmm. There's another picture because of her marriage to Steve that paints her in a different light. Okay?
Yeah.
When you went to prison, you got a life sentence without a chance of parole. In other words, forever. You gone until they roll you out, your eyes are closed, and your body is stiff. This your new home.
In shackles.
Okay. In shackles.
They roll you out in shackles. Even though you're dead as a doornail, you got to be shackled.
How did, if Marjorie was involved in the drug game with you, How did Marjorie miss going to prison?
Because of me.
What you mean because of you?
Everybody know I took the weight.
You took the full weight.
I took the full weight. And of course, you know, it was no way in the world I was going to let her go to prison. She had my daughter, my 5-year-old daughter, and she was 8 months pregnant with my son.
Okay.
So, no, I would have did, to be perfectly honest, I would have did whatever it took to keep her from going to prison.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
So that's how she dodged the bullet. So, and if I had to do it all over again, I would do it.
We're going to take a break and we'll be back with more conversation with Jim L. Townsend right after this.
So many of our young men and women are being killed on the streets of Memphis, and loved ones are left begging for a way to either bury or cremate them, because while they have insured their cars and their phones, they have failed to insure themselves. Well, there is no excuse. Call Joe with Lincoln Heritage Funeral Advantage. Joe can get your loved one insured for $30,000 for as little as $15 per month. Or even if your loved one is a male between the ages of 18 or 25, he can be insured for $30 per month with a $160,000 accidental rider for only $30. Females, $25. Lincoln Heritage is affordable and has fixed rates, lifetime coverage, no examinations, no waiting period on most cases, coverage for all ages up to 100 years of age, fast claim payments, 24 to 36 hours. Also, Joe has a senior hardship plan, even for fixed income families. Call Joe right now. Make sure you put this number down. Joe with Lincoln Heritage, 901-864-0090. That's area code 901-864-0090. Call Joe.
The following names and photos are persons who have committed crimes in Shelby County and missed their court dates where an elected judge has issued a warrant for their arrest. These individuals have also jumped bail with A+ Bonding Company, and the co-signers are now liable for the entire amount of the bond which they signed for. Latasha Ward, $10,000 bond. Felicia Thompson is the co-signer. Darian Davis, $7,000 bond. April Jeffries is the co-signer. DeMonte Sandoval, $10,000 bond. Jakikia Lawson is the co-signer. Monterio Tony, $13,500 bond. Mercedes Leak is the co-signer. Remember, co-signers are liable for the total amount of the bond. It is a crime to harbor or not report the whereabouts of any fugitive if you know where they are. There is a reward for any information that leads to the custody and the arrest of these fugitives. Call 901-730-2499. 901-730-2499. That's A+ bail.
This is the Cussing Pastor. You know, are you looking for good furniture to just relax in, or a good mattress to roll in the hay with, or as the young folks say, to get busy in? Well, the place to go is 901 Home Furniture and Mattress. located at 7215 Winchester Road, right across from them other folk that you can go see what they got and come across the street and have their deal beat. At 901, they have every type of furniture piece that you need. They got recliners, they've got sofas, they've got end tables, they've got everything you need. In fact, if you want to put some nice pictures up on the wall, they have that at 901 Furniture and Mattress. One of the biggest features that they have at the 901 is a massage and vibrating chair. It reduces your stress and your anxiety. It eases your back and your neck pain. It even improves your sleep and increases your circulation and range of motion. And ladies, I bet you never had a vibrator this big. At 901, they have mattresses of all types. And I'm talking about name brand mattresses and beds. Ooh, I like this bed I'm in right now. It's vibrating. And guess what? Ladies and gentlemen, any position you want the bed to be in any position you want to be in, you need to go to 901 and get this mattress right here, or get any of the vast mattresses that they have. The best prices on furniture and mattresses is found at 901 Furniture and Mattresses. In fact, when you come in and tell them that you listen to the Thaddeus Matthews Show, you get the Cousin Pastor discount. Just spin the wheel, and wherever it lands, you get a discount. Remember, credit is not an option. You can get approved for up to $5,000 credit, no matter how bad your credit is, but we hope that it's good or fairly well, but you're still going to be accepted at 901. No credit is needed. So when you're looking for good furniture or a good mattress, the only place to go where you get the best discounts is 901 Home Furniture and Mattresses. They're located again at 7215 Winchester Road, or give them a call at 901-279-8279. That's 901-279-8279.
I love Memphis. I'm a lifelong Memphian. And as you well know, my public service career spans over 30 years in Memphis. I served 12 years as school superintendent, and then the citizens of Memphis elected me for 5 consecutive times as the mayor of this great city. Today, it saddens me to see my hometown in a critical crisis. In fact, it is quite embarrassing. I know after serving as mayor for 17 and a half years, I know the type of leadership that our city needs. And please believe me, we need proven leadership. This is not the time for on-the-job training. We need proven leadership. In my opinion, and this is my opinion, as I look at all of the candidates that have announced thus far, there's not a single one that is prepared to give this city the type of leadership it needs at this critical moment in our history. For these reasons and more, I have decided to offer my candidacy for mayor in the 2023 election. You've trusted me with this important leadership role in the past, and I'm asking you to trust me again. If I'm your choice once again, I pledge to serve this city faithfully and to make sure that Memphis is a city that we all love.
All right, this is the one you've been waiting for. This is the one everybody's been talking about. You guys see this, Superman? This is the original one I do on the radio on Hot 107.1 with Dr. Harrington. Get the hell out of my office. You want it? Here we go.
Bellevue. Raise it. Bellevue. Lucian. Bellevue. Raise it. Bellevue. Lucian.
Some guy. some guy comes up to my office with a contrived media stunt, demanding that I come out, and he's very nasty to my staff. How do you think I'm going to feel? Do you think I'm going to be pleasing for him to be in my office? No. I meant just what I said. He needs to get the hell out of my office. 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 He needs to get the hell out of my office.
Hello, I'm Tanya Jones, developer and still full owner of On Demand Pain Relief Rub. It's exciting and humbling to see how On Demand is growing and evolving while still being the same product you trust, purchased, and love. The pain rub is 100% still the same, 100% drug-free, 100% all natural, and I am 100% still involved. I created On Demand Pain Relief Rub after I began suffering with my own chronic pain. And yes, the results have been amazing. You may see the new branding, the new look, and the new website, all coming from me, the same person that has a heart to help others deal with their chronic pain. Go ahead, place your order, or stop by any of the locations to pick up yours. I thank you so much for your support and trust. I am Tanya Jones, 100% owner of On Demand Pain Relief Rub.
Greenwood, Mississippi. It's the 3rd annual Down Home Blues Music Festival and Old Fashioned Fish Fry. Saturday, June 10th. Flowood River State Park in Greenwood. Starring Tucker, Sir Charles Jones, TK Soul, J1, P2K Diddy, Trey Wilker, Mr. Seth, Nathaniel Kimball, Isaac Lindsay, Norville Eccles, and more. The gates open at 11 a.m. Showtime's at 1 p.m. Your tickets are on sale now. VIP tickets are available. Tickets are available at all the usual outlets and on the web at ticketweb.com. The 3rd annual Down Home Blues Music Festival and Old Fashioned Fish Fry. Be there.
And we're back here on the Thaddeus Matthews Show. A little bit different than I normally do. I'm not in my studio, as you can tell. And my guest is Jimmy Townsend. We knew him back in the day as J-Mac. Probably Memphis's first black drug kingpin. Now, I don't know what the street terminology is for a woman kingpin. Do we call Marjorie a queen pin? Let's get back into our conversation. That was the word that the FBI was investigating Marjorie at that time, that she had a club or a bar, and that the feds closed her down because they figured that she was channeling drug money as a part of her business. Is there any truth to that?
Well, mostly they was looking at me, of course, and well, by the business being in her name in a corporation, my name wasn't on, the paperwork any kind of way. So yeah, well, they was trying to see the connection, of course, which was easy because that was my wife.
Okay.
And so actually they couldn't have taken the business, but my co-defendant, he went through the forfeiture and testified that just so happened I had given him some money to give to an interior decorator one day. Mm-hmm. He had just picked up $30,000 for me, and I told him to take it to Marjorie was at that club with the interior decorator, and I think she needed $15,000. Well, I couldn't get to her to get it, and she couldn't go all the way back home. So I told her, but listen, Pete just picked up $30,000 for me. I'm gonna have him drop off $15,000 for you. And so when she did that and gave that money to the interior decorator, well, it came back to hunt me.
Okay.
Because when he testified against me at trial, well, he told him about that. So if they can prove that you put $1 into a business, $1, I don't care if it's $1 million business, whatever, then that gives them the right to take their business.
Okay.
Yeah. So by him testifying that he gave that $15,000 to her, you know, for the
After he
furtherance of
picked it up from you.
Yeah. So that's how they was able to take the Hawaiian Isles.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how that went down. But yeah, they had to investigate her through trying to see how I fit in the picture. They knew I did, but they couldn't prove it.
Okay.
You see. So yeah. That's
So she should be forever grateful to you that she didn't go to prison.
Oh yeah, yeah. From that perspective, yeah.
Okay. One of the biggest things in this story, when you heard that Marjorie, you all were divorced, how long
Yeah.
were you in prison before she divorced you?
5 years to be exact. 5
Okay.
years.
Then she married Donnell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long did they stay married?
I think about a year.
Okay.
Yeah, I think about a year.
Lori was born
Yeah.
in that marriage. So what's the ages of your children now? You've got Jason, you got Morgan. Those are the only two children that you have with Marjorie, am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. What's their ages?
Morgan's 35 and Jason is 30.
Okay.
Correct.
Now, there has been this big conversation about the fact that Steve Harvey adopted your children. First of all, how do you feel about that?
Well, first of all, that is he didn't adopt. He just adopted my son.
Okay.
And let me tell you the story. That hurt me to my heart, because even with Morgan, my daughter, Marjorie, we weren't married when she was conceived.
Okay.
We got married afterwards.
Okay.
So, and it's sad to say, but you know, that was the only legitimate child that I had, Jason, through marriage. You know.
Okay. Okay.
And all of my other kids, I mean, we weren't moms, and we weren't all married. But man, I love him to death, and they know I love him to death. So that ain't no story. But with Jason, how I felt. In fact, my other kids told me, don't change his name. Because what happened was Jason couldn't change his name at that particular time.
He couldn't?
No, because he wasn't of age yet. They had to get my parental consent. So what they did was, and now be mindful that me and Jason, we got a relationship all through his young life, even from prison. You know, he took it. In fact, he took his first steps in prison, which scared the craps out of me, because I said, man, I hope this ain't a home and this boy gonna come up a drug dealer. But anyway, this particular day was in the month of July. I'll never forget it. I mean, blazing hot. Mm-hmm. And so my counselor came to me this particular day. This has to do with Jason changing his name. My counselor came to me that day and was telling me that the sheriff wanted to see me. I had to go to the gate to pick up some kind of warrant or summons or something.
Okay.
So when he came and told me that, man, I started shaking in the inside, because I knew they couldn't, you know, as far as drugs, you know, that was a done deal. They couldn't bring no more charges on that. That was over with. So in my mindset, I'm saying, the only thing they can be bringing to me don't have a statute of limitation on is murder. So in my mind, I'm thinking they come to serve me.
Had you killed somebody, Jimmy?
Man, you think I would say so if I didn't? No, I never killed. That's one thing.
Okay.
No, I never. That's, you know, fortunately close to it, but no, it never happened. No, I never murdered. I never had that on my hand. But anyway.
And you wouldn't confess right now nowhere?
No, if I did, but I mean I didn't. Let's get the record straight on that. I never murdered. So, but so my counselor had to walk me up to the gate to get this warrant or whatever I'm thinking it was, a warrant. And so the trip to the gate, man, I'm sweating bullets. You know what I mean? I'm wringing wet. My
Because you can't imagine what it is. You're already in prison.
Yeah, and I've been in prison 20-some years.
Okay.
I mean right at 20 years. So what, you know?
Okay.
And see, in prison, you got to understand there's a lot of snitches and all like that. And what they do, they'll do anything to try to you know, get that time off of them.
Right,
They'll
right.
lie, whatever, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I'm thinking somebody went, oh, I know Jimmy Townsend killed someone, had a body, blah, blah, blah. So like I said, that's what's resonating in my mind.
Okay,
As I make this trip to pick up this warrant, whatever the sheriff had for me up there. And so anyway, when I get there, because I remember my counselor, you all right, man? Hell no, I ain't all right, man. I said, no. I said, I don't know what's going on. So anyway, we get to the gate, and so the sheriff asked me my name and all like that. Yes, he had my number, and so he reached me these papers. And he said, and so he didn't tell me what it was, and he had me to sign for it. Mm-hmm. And he gone. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, so I'm shaking, trying to open the envelope, right, and see what it is. No, it's a warrant. But it was a letter. It was a letter from this lawyer in Atlanta.
Okay.
Where Jason and them and Steve Harvey and all them lived at that particular time. And then the letter said that Jason was requesting to have his name changed. Mm-hmm. And for me, you know, to sign off on my parental rights. Well, I hit the ceiling. Because me and Jason got a relationship. We talking at least once every month. We talk, me and that boy talk. We had that type of relationship. And she was bringing him to see me and all that. So now I'm kind of upset, and because we talk about everything. Even when he got married, he didn't even tell his mom. He told me.
Okay.
So that type of relationship. So I'm saying, Jason, I called him. I called him that night, and as soon as I got back. No, I called him as soon as I got back. I talked to him. I said, man, what is this? You want your name changed? He was 17 at that time, and I think within 7 or 8 months he would have been 18.
Okay.
So my mind, I told him, I said, Jason, why? You know, I just thought you was gonna carry on the Townsend name and make it something better than me and your uncles did. Because we kind of beat up the name, you know. And I would hate for you to change it. And I said, why? And he goes on to give me this spiel. Well, Dad, you know I love you. Can't nothing change our blood. Blood is blood, and it's just that Steve, you know, he just, you know, just acting as a father while you in prison. And, you know, he gave me that kind of spiel. And I said, Jason, I remember telling this. I said, Jason, a name don't make the man make the name. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Like, so I told him that. So, but yeah, I was highly upset because of that, you know. And come years later, come to find out, because he was telling me, he didn't tell me the truth initially, that it was his thought. I know, because I told him, I said, I left this part out. I said, listen, you'll be 18 in about 7 or 8 months. You don't need me to sign. Don't force me to do that. You can sign off yourself. You see what I'm saying? But my mindset was that, and my thought was that, I truly believe, now I might be wrong, if you going in 7 or 8 months, you can change, you can sign off. You don't need me to sign off on it. You can do it yourself. Wait till 7 or 8 months. Why do it now? So my thought was that, seriously, I thought it was his mom doing it, because
You thought what?
I thought his mom had, well, couldn't find out. Later on, he told me the truth. My thought was right.
What was the truth?
The truth was that his mom, them, Steve, them, that was their ideas, he told me. Because like he said, man, Dad, my thought went like that, you know, just, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Did he ever
So-
say why Steve wanted?
Well, they was trying to come up with this blended family thing. You know how they was pushing.
They wanted to be the Brady Bunch.
Yeah, that's a joke. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but couldn't find out. All that was a facade anyway. But yeah, but that was a take on him changing his name. You see, so I was had a kind of bitter taste in my mouth behind that.
Would you have felt better if Steve had made personal contact with you to tell you what the whole name change was about?
Yeah, that would have made me feel better. But really, to be honest, there's nothing they could tell me about the 7 or 8 months. Man, wait, you don't need me to sign nothing. What is 7 or 8 months? Mm-hmm. So I know it was more to it.
So why was there a rush?
That's my question. That was my. I just told you my thought on it.
Okay.
My thought was that I think that she wanted Jason to have Harvey's name. So if anything happened to Steve Harvey, of course, bam, he's
Okay.
Harvey. That's his son.
Okay.
Now that's my thought. Now whether the truth or not, I don't know. But I know later on in the years, when I got out of prison, I talked to Jason about it. And he told me that wasn't is doing. That's what it's done. So
Let me ask you this question. When you were dealing drugs, you were in the money. Donnell was in the money. Steve Harvey is in the money. Would you consider Marjorie a gold digger?
me,
Yeah.
what I consider, my take on it,
Uh,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm being honest. I mean, yeah, I'm just, you know, it's untold truth. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
so you think Marjorie looks for men with money?
Past tense, looked for man's money. Yeah,
Because she didn't hit big time now.
yeah, she big time. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm glad for her. I mean, one thing about anybody that know me in Memphis, one thing about it, I'm not a hater.
Okay.
But one thing about it, I stayed true to the game, and I expected, you know, and I know that don't go for everybody. They'll say out of their mouth they're gonna stay true to the game. But I know coming up through the game, I knew that wasn't true. Very few stayed true to the game. A lot of them turned into rats and all that because they couldn't take it. You know, they didn't want to. They didn't want to do the time.
Would you take credit for teaching her the game?
Almost definitely. She didn't know that. She was green as grass, and
She was naive.
she was somewhat, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she was naive. And to be honest, to be perfectly honest, she didn't know what I was. She didn't know nothing about me. She was just an 18-year-old working at Piccadilly's as a cashier when I
Okay.
met her, you know. So
Okay.
She didn't know nothing. And it was going to, in fact, it was going to Memphis State.
Okay.
She had got kicked out of Memphis State. She had
Well,
dropped
I was reading an article yesterday on her that her grades were very low.
Yeah, she dropped out, I think.
She dropped out.
Yeah, my son, yeah, well, that's what I heard. I don't think she told me the truth about that. But she wasn't going to college. She wasn't. She dropped out.
Okay.
And that's what really fell out made her fall out with her mom.
Was it a surprise to you when you found out that she was marrying Steve Harvey?
No. See, this is what people don't understand. That's what I was telling you guys. Me and Marjorie, from the time we went to prison, we stayed in touch with her. I could call her any time, day or night. And this is the truth. All those years, 20 years, almost 20 years, call her any time, day or night, like I said. Talk to her second husband, relationship, cool, you know. 3 days up until this point, she was dating Steve Harvey. And she told me about she dating him, blah, blah, blah. So this particular, 3 days before they got married, she told me she was gonna marry him, right? And she said, Jimmy, you know, you really like Steve. He reminded me so much of my daddy, you know. So I said, when she said that, man.
He reminded you of what?
She said that Steve Harvey reminded her so much of her father.
Okay.
So when she said that, I said, well, man, you know what? She got the real deal. Because I have total respect for her dad. I seen her dad walk. I seen how he was a loving father. I seen how he was a loving husband, you see, to his wife, right? So I'm saying if he liked her father, oh, she got a winner now. That was my thought. You see what I'm saying? Couldn't find out that wasn't true. But yeah, she just, oh yeah, my thought was 3 days before the wedding, she told me they was going to Hawaii and they was going to get married. I said, well, cool, I'm going to call you after the wedding, you know, congratulate you and blah, blah, blah. Don't let me forget about this letter that I wrote to him. And so, but after the wedding, I called her. Man, I never heard her voice again. I never heard her voice again. Not on the telephone, you know, news media and all like that. But her number was changed after 20.
The number was changed.
The number was changed. I never heard her voice on the phone again after 20-some years. And I tell people, now, y'all be the judge of that. I mean, that's exactly what happened.
So do you think Steve said,
we never had a falling out, in 20-some years of disagreement on the phone, on all our conversations. Never.
so you think Steve
One
cut
time.
Steve cut it off?
That's what I tell the people, y'all make that determination. I'm just telling you what happened. I talked to that woman 3 days before she got married. We done talked all that time.
Was Steve aware that there was communication between the two of you?
To be honest, Daddies, I'm quite sure that he did, but I mean, I don't know. It would be speculation on my part if I said that. I really don't know. Yeah.
So, what's your true feeling about Steve Harvey?
My true feeling, to be honest, my true feeling, I'm gonna tell you now, that's why I told you, remind me about the letter. I wrote Steve Harvey and Marjorie a letter. I wrote them a letter. What did I write it about? You know, thinking, I wrote that letter, something that happened, I just wrote it. Oh yeah, I wrote them from the perspective that, you know, they were professing to be Christians. And I wrote them a letter just, you know, just telling them that, you know, that I love them in Christ. And something like that went on like that, you know. But I wrote them this letter. Of course, you know, I never heard back from it. You know, the only letter I got from, I left that out, that part out. The only letter I got from Marjorie was after she had, I wouldn't sign off on Jason's because I took my time.
So you didn't sign off?
I didn't sign off.
Okay.
No, right away, you know, because I had to go, I told Jason, let me think about it.
Okay.
So Marjorie wrote me a letter, I forgot, she wrote me a letter, I still got the letter, where she said, she was just saying, Jimmy, by having Jason's name changed, you know, it wasn't nothing vindictive or nothing like that, or something the way she said it. She was just saying it, well, I just thought that it would be best, she said that was something he wanted to do. That's the lie she told, that was just something he wanted to do, you know, just because Steve was being like a father to him. That's what she put it.
That's what, who wanted to do, Steve or your son?
My son. She was saying that my son wanted to change his name. You see what I'm saying? Because because Steve, his mindset, he was telling me that, same thing he told me. Well, you know, Dad, you know, blood run deep. Nothing can change our blood. But I just wanted to, you know, just since Steve is acting as a father to me, you know, I just wanted, you know, just to have his name. And so I could have it, Jason Harvey Townsend. Well, no, that's when he told me after he had done it, after I got out of prison, he wanted to put that hyphen in it then. But I said, no, man, leave it like it is. You ain't gonna be no Townsend all the way. Don't stay a Harvey.
Okay.
So that was that. That's where that went. But yeah, where were we? 3 days. I never heard her voice again after she got married. So I tell people, I said, now that's a story. Now y'all make your own determination. I done communicated with this woman for 20-some years. She done brought the kids to visit me. You see what I'm saying? Hang up, you know, I love you, Jimmy. All that stuff, you know. I love you, Marge. I love you, boy. That's what she used to call me. I used to call her girl. So, but anyway, yeah. So that's where that went. 3 days before the marriage, we talking. A day or two after, when I call, phone number cut off. Cut. So.
Has she ever, since you've been out, made an attempt to reach out to you?
Man, heck no, she didn't. And quick story, I was just in Atlanta. That's when my kids were in Dawsonville, 40 minutes outside of Atlanta. I just went to visit my daughter Morgan.
Okay.
A real quick story. Well, first of all, when I got out of prison in 2017, 2018, Elle had my granddaughter, Elle, Morgan's daughter, had a birthday party, a 4th year birthday party. They was making a big hoopla out of it, right? For a 4th year birthday party. So I came to go to a birthday party. Went to Atlanta to go to a birthday party. And at this particular time, and Morgan was ecstatic because her dad is out of prison now, got opportunity to come to his grandbaby's birthday party. So she was ecstatic. And I was too, you see. And so, it was so crazy. Marjorie told Morgan that if I came to the birthday party, she wasn't coming.
Really?
Now I done did 27 years in prison pretty much for this woman.
Okay.
And she gonna, you know what I'm saying? Now all of a sudden, and we've been friends for all through that prison term. Now all of a sudden, she don't even want to come. You gonna deny me the opportunity to come to my grandbaby's birthday party? You done told my daughter, and that broke her heart. That broke her heart because, you know, her dad is getting opportunity to come to the party.
Well, maybe it was
So-
Marjorie. If Marjorie came, Steve was coming. So maybe she didn't want you all to ever
Well,
meet up.
I don't know nothing about Steve coming. I don't remember Morgan telling me nothing about he was coming, and I don't know the full gist of the story from that perspective. But,
Well, it don't look
regardless,
like she can make many moves that he don't make behind her.
Yeah, I mean, what's the big deal? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nobody shouldn't be that insecure. Man, I've been gone 27 years, and here you are with a multi-millionaire. I mean, think about it, Thaddeus.
Yeah.
I ain't no threat. I'm no threat whatsoever. You think she's gonna leave them millions jeopardized? But come on, man. It's just keeping it real, man. Those are my grandbabies.
Okay.
I talked to them on the phone while I was in prison. But now
Okay.
I'm getting an opportunity to be with them,
Okay.
to hug them and love them and touch on them, come on, man. And that was Rob. So now that broke Morgan's heart because her mama done put her in a predicament.
Okay.
So she calls me and tells me, she said, Dad, no, you come. I'm just going to tell Mom you ain't coming, and then you just show up at the party. I said, Morgan, no, I'm not going to do it that way. You see what I'm saying? That ain't going to do nothing but open up a can of worms and going to have some bitterness between you and your mom. I said, no, we don't do it this way. So what I ended up doing just the day before, I just took my grandbaby and we went to Chick-fil-A, in fact. That's what she liked. To this day, she loved Chick-fil-A. And we just, went there and she played. So I didn't get a chance to go to the party. But I said that story. I just recently went to Atlanta for the 22nd. I spent a week there for Elle's birthday party again, right? Her 8th-year birthday party. So that was 4 years later. So now, her mother didn't even come to the baby's party. You see what I'm saying? She still didn't come, but she came the next day. I'm in the house, right? She come in like a thief in the night, get Elle, take Elle all day, shopping, whatever they did, and so that was so crazy to me. So it's so crazy to me that me and this woman, we never had an argument or nothing. Friends, parents, and but that's when she crossed the gun line with me. She crossed the gun line when she denied me when I just came out of prison with Elle to be at that birthday party. I was through with Marjorie then.
Do you consider Marjorie a snake?
What's the name of my book? Snakes in the Garden.
Okay.
Yeah, I talk about snakes.
Is she the snake?
Well, I told in one of my reels, I told people, I said there's 3 different kind of snakes, in my opinion. And you got the garden snake, which is pretty much harmless. And you got the rattlesnake. He will kind of warn you if you get up on him, you know what I'm saying? So you can kind of see his action. So you crazy if you don't back up, because if you keep going, the snake he gonna mess you up. And of course you got the black mama. The black mama don't care, he gonna kill you. No warning, no nothing.
So which snake is Marjorie?
You know what? And I looked, I can't say she was the garden snake. The rattlesnake, she didn't give me no warning because I never would have thought that she would have acted the way she's acting now.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So she got to be the black mama. Don't you think?
She's a killer snake.
She's a killer.
So
it is.
Should Steve Harvey watch out for himself? Is she a dangerous snake?
If he don't know what kind of woman she is now, I think they've been together for about 12 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if he don't know about it now, then, they still together. What can I say? I'm happy from that perspective. You see what I'm saying? I'm no hater. I'm glad she called a fool. I mean, called a
Called a fool?
No, I didn't say that. I didn't mean to say that. No, she called a man that she really can, it's been 12 years, but they've been together 12 years.
Do you think he's a fool?
No, me?
Yeah. Do you think Steve Harvey, in his relationship, went into it blindly?
I think Steve Harvey is insecure. I don't know the man, and then I can't. I mean, that's just my speculation. That's why that's what I tell everybody. That's why I tell everybody where Marjorie and I was as far as our relationship. After I went to prison, beautiful relationship. So I mean, come on. So I really don't know. I really don't. All I know is that she had no reason to.
But you do believe she's a gold digger?
I believe that.
and she's finally found her
But
a
she's a
deep
player.
mind.
But now she's a player now.
She's a player.
She learned. I mean, she learned.
She know the game.
She know the game. She was with a player. So
Do you
she
think the
know.
name change with the children was part of the game?
Yeah, I told you that. I think they was. You called it right. The Brady Bunch. They was portraying this. You know, and Morgan, she told me it was all facade. It was all what you saying. And I think a lot of people knew what they were saying about this blended family thing. It was all for show, for
So
the camera.
the children are not as close as quote unquote TV portrays.
Oh no. You know, that's another story in itself. Morgan and Marjorie are estranged now.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Estranged. Who, Steve? That's a long story. You know, it was just a lot of foolishness was going on. Like I said, Marjorie just really, she done went crazy. You see?
She done went crazy.
Oh, she really have. Anytime, let me tell you something. Anytime you let money do to you what she's done, and I know this ain't the first time for people do that. Money change some people.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? So anytime you got and I'm gonna put this out there, you got a friend that you grew up with. You grew up like this here. Y'all fought for each other. You see what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And now you done cut her off. In fact, your parents treat her like she's their daughter.
Okay.
Just like she treats you. And you turn your back on, you done got so high polluting up there that you gonna turn your back on your best friend for no reason? Pretty much just like she did me for no reason. That's
Okay.
why that's that.
Okay.
So she turned her back on, and I talked to another one of her real close girlfriends. They said, you know, Margie, she don't talk to us. She don't have nothing to do with us no more. You know, she got all brand new friends. See, that's what money, you know, that's what they said. The love of money is the root of all evil. And I can see that in Margie. And I'm just putting it out there because she needs to be called to account. I'm putting it out there in the truth, the untold story. You see what I'm saying? It ain't hating on her or nothing like that. But the way she done pretty much divided this family, man, it's ugly. It's real ugly. Because of
So are
money.
the children divided?
No, well, she loved Jason, my son, to death, but she provided for him, you know. In fact, they're in Abu Dhabi now. That's another story in itself with Jason, you know. Jason, let me show you how close me and Jason was. When I got out of prison out of the halfway house.
Okay.
On a Friday when they cut that leg band off.
Okay.
That Friday. See, when I got clemency, I had 5 years of probation.
Okay.
But through that Obama administration, they took that off. And that was crazy anyway. You done gave a man a life sentence without the possibility of parole. Then you give him a 5-year probation. You know.
How do you do that?
That's what I'm saying. That's a good question. How you do that? I guess if you die in prison, you still got to do the probation. but I said that anyway. They took that off. In fact, they hated me. They hated on me so hard, Thaddeus, that when I got clemency, the prosecutor, they were so pissed off until they filed a 30-page brief to keep the probation on me, saying that no, this man is some kind of to society and he needs 5 years of paper. You see what I'm saying? Because that was part of the sentence.
Make it make sense. You were given by a federal judge life without the chance of parole. So how they gonna give you probation? Based on what?
No, that's what I'm telling you. It was so crazy. They were so pissed off at me, they just went crazy. They gave me a life sentence without parole, right? And 5 years of paper. I guess in case I do get out of some kind of way, like I got out.
Yeah.
You know, but that's where that went down.
So if you died, we can't even take you to the morgue. Shit, your ass gotta lay here.
And do 5 years.
Huh?
Dead. Yeah.
For 5 years, shit, somebody gonna have to check you off.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Jimmy. There was a U.S. congressman involved in this whole setup of you going to prison and all this, and I'm talking about Harold Ford Sr. What role did Harold Ford Sr., U.S. Congressman, play in this whole thing with you?
Okay, and get the record straight. Harold Ford never did any drug dealing, as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
But they just had a hard-on for, and I know you remember the story. It was all in the newspaper nationwide. You know, with that drug banking.
Yeah, who?
Drug, not drug, I'm sorry. Banking.
Yeah, Jim.
Yeah. I was
With
an
the-
employee of N.J. Ford's funeral home at the time.
It is.
Okay, so you know about the Butcher Boys. You know, so you know,
Jake Butcher.
On my YouTube.
Yeah.
in fact, they were so close, Harold named.
And the National Bank of Commerce.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You know more about me. Yeah. So you know he had beat
No,
his
no.
first trial. I mean, Harold was close.
I'm talking about the one that you and I did.
We, as far as getting high. But Harold had got caught up in that banking scam, you know, with the Butchers. Of course, they,
Oh,
of course
okay.
they, you know, them two white boys, the Butchers, you know, they found them guilty, and they got all that time.
Yeah, it's
So
on my-
you know
it's on
how
my,
bad they were. Harold knew
YouTube.
Harold hooked up with him.
I didn't get
You
it
know the
started
story.
till 2 o'clock because I had to go
But,
to the doctor this
You know, there
morning.
was no way they was gonna find Harold guilty.
But
in
it's
Memphis. You know
it's
that.
on my
So,
YouTube
of course,
channel.
The first trial, he beat it. And now the second trial, doing that between the first trial and the second trial, this is when I had got busted.
Oh, okay.
And so they had found some tapes
Okay, all right.
in my house. The tapes were tapes of me and my brother Terry, and with Harold, because Harold I had gave Harold $30,000.
You gave Harold $30,000.
Yeah, I had gave him $30,000.
For what?
Huh?
You just liked him?
No, I wouldn't like them. We had bought this property on Chevy Drive in Tulaloma. We had bought that whole lot where it's Family Dollar there now.
Okay.
But with the intentions on putting up an Amoco, you know, at that particular time, these Amoco little
Right.
fast food thing like they got going on now.
Right.
So we was gonna have one built. You had to, the franchise, you had to put up 250,000.
Okay.
That wasn't no problem. But the problem was you couldn't walk in there and give them $250,000 cash.
Okay.
You know, but Harold was hooked up with, you know, with the banking business. So he was supposed to have got the bank manager at UPS, not UPS, what's the bank? United Planners.
Okay.
UP. And and got the manager there and him. They was gonna show us how to clean the money.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So we could do it legitimately, get the business legit. So, but anyway, during that time, Harold was having his second trial. And of course, his money was funny. So he ended up taking my $30,000, not paying me back. So, so anyway, Terry and I, you know, it's hard to catch him because he was between Memphis and
Washington.
D.C., right. So he was ducking phone calls and all that. Instead of coming out, if Harold had came to me and said, Jimmy, you know, I'm going through this and that, man. I got you. Work with me. I would have. I would have. And I had it going on, so at that time, I probably would have said, man, just give me half of it or something like that, you know. But the truth be told, the reason I got that life sentence, this is the reason I got that life sentence, right? They got, so when they found those tapes, because Harold, we caught Harold, we finally caught it with Harold, caught him going home one night. He was over in Park Village, on Poplar over there.
Yeah, Poplar.
Yeah,
In the condo.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, you know. So that's where we caught him one night.
Right.
He's coming in one night, and it was raining slightly, right? And remind you, I've been trying to catch up with him for 2 weeks. He done supposed to meet me here, had me standing, stood me up, and all, just playing games with me, instead of coming to me like a man. And so Terry and I, we caught him that particular night. We laid out and waited for him. You know? And you know, the garage come up. So
Right.
when the garage came up, you know, he ain't expecting nothing. Before he knew it, we was down on him.
Okay.
Isn't he shaking like a pack of craps in a dice game? But anyway, he couldn't even talk. I said, well, let's go inside and talk. You know, so anyway, we go in. And you know, so he's making up all these kind of excuses, but he don't know we got a little micro tape on us. Because my thought was, nigga, if you don't pay me my money, I'm gonna expose you. So, but the tape was really for a boo, for a scare. I would have never done that, but he don't know that. So, but anyway, they found the tape. Long story short, when they raided my house, they found the tape, the cassettes. And when they found out that conversation we had about banking and the whole
Okay.
scam, you see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So when they found that, next thing I know, man, I had to meet up with the FBI too. McDonald was one of them. I know it was 2 FBI agents, DeCenza, DEA, Colbert Hart, and somebody else, you know. And that thing, what they told me, this is what they told me. Listen, we can make everything go away, but you got to get on the witness stand and corroborate those things.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I played with him. I told him, yeah, I would do it. Because I was really pissed. I would have been justified because this nigga done ran and ducked and died and wouldn't pay me my money.
Okay.
Wouldn't be a man. So I would have been justified to do that if I had it. But my whole mindset, I'm old school, my whole mindset, man, that's all these crackers want the black man to do the rollover on the black man. So, and I promised her I wouldn't call her name, but anyway, I told her to go to Harold and tell him what they was trying to get me to do to him. And that joker told his attorney, and his attorney went and told them what I had, what they was trying to get me to do.
Okay.
And the next thing I knew, they had me jacked up higher than a giraffe ass. That's what I said. And they told me, I never forget, D.A. Colbert Hart told me, he said, listen, you told that red son of a bitch, talking about Harold, you were gonna nail your ass to the cross.
Okay.
And boy, that's what they did. That's how I got that. That's really how I got that license. Right? Because I could have, they could have made it go away, or they would have gave me 5 or 10 years. But I played with them like that, so. And they made an example out of me. So yeah, that's where that went. So Harold was a rattlesnake. He was a rattlesnake, I would say, you know. That is. So anyway, so I've seen and talked to him once since I've been out of prison.
Who, Harold?
Yeah, I talked to him. My brother's funeral was at his
Funeral home.
Yeah.
Serenity, NJ.
Serenity.
You know, during that time, I worked for Harold.
Really?
Yeah, I was at NJ Ford. This is 92, 94.
Yeah.
Back in that.
Because I went to prison 91.
91?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to take a break and we'll be back with more conversation with Jim L. Townsend right after this. You know, eating is one of the things I love to do, and soul food is one of the things I love to eat most. And when I'm looking for soul food, just like you need to go to Shop and Save in South Memphis. I don't give a damn what part of town you live in, you need to go to 1499 South 3rd. I'm so damn glad I'm here to cut this commercial. Look, I'm gonna get me, hello, it's so much here. I'm gonna get me some of them candy yams, some of them beans, some peas, some greens, some baked chicken, some of them wings, some of them turkey legs. Hell, I'm gonna get all of it. You can get whatever you want to eat. In fact, if you need breakfast, they serve breakfast from 6 until 10 o'clock each and every day. And if you brothers need some of that thing that keep your thing working, this is also a place that you can pick up your erector. You know, I ain't supposed to have no sweets, but don't tell nobody. They got cheesecakes, all kinds of cakes. Oh, my favorite, banana pudding. Shop and Save, 1499 South 3rd.
Hey guys, don't forget about your bedroom therapy. It comes in coffee, honey, and capsules, and it works every time.
Come to Shop and Save, Memphis' best soul food.
Hello, I'm Tanya Jones, developer and still full owner of On Demand Pain Relief Rub. It's exciting and humbling to see how On Demand is growing and evolving while still being the same product you trust, purchased, and love. The pain rub is 100% still the same, 100% drug-free, 100% all natural, and I am 100% still involved. I created On Demand Pain Relief Rub. after I began suffering with my own chronic pain. And yes, the results have been amazing. You may see the new branding, the new look, and the new website, all coming from me, the same person that has a heart to help others deal with their chronic pain. Go ahead, place your order, or stop by any of the locations to pick up yours. I thank you so much for your support and trust. I am Tanya Jones, 100% owner of On Demand Pain Relief Rub.
This is Thaddeus Matthews. You know, presently I'm on 6 radio stations, 5 of which are in the state of Mississippi, but I'm also on the radio in Memphis, Tennessee on AM 1600 WMQM, and I invite you to join me each and every morning from 6 a.m. until 10 o'clock. I am the true king of Memphis radio. And now I'm about to open up a
Hi, my name is Reggie Hall. Having been a community activist and child advocate for over 20 years, I have worked tirelessly to provoke positive change in our communities. I have remained steadfast in my pursuit of social justice and financial literacy equality for the disenfranchised amongst us. Yes, the road has been hard and victories have been extremely difficult, but I continue to fight the good fight. My family and I believe now is the time for me to expand and run for mayor of our beloved city. Memphis, with your help, we can turn this thing around. Please visit my website at www.reggiehallformayor.com to review my platform on blight, crime, safety, education, jobs, investment, and tourism. One community. The future is together.
It's about to be prom time, graduation time, grooms and brides. Don't you want to ride in style on your special day? Then ride with 3-way limo service. They are bonded and they are licensed. 3-way limo service gives you all that you need: safety, reliability, comfortableness, and style. Whether it's the presidential Cadillac limousine or the Beast, or it's the party bus. Yes, whether it's your church event, whether it's your school event, whether it's a jump off at the concert or at the casino, 3-way limo is the only way to travel. Call them right now. 901-584-7277. 901-584-7277.
And we're back here on the Thaddeus Matthews Show. A little bit different than I normally do. I'm not in my studio, as you can tell. And my guest is Jimmy Townsend. We knew him back in the day as J-Mac. Probably Memphis's first black drug kingpin. Now, I don't know what the street terminology is for a woman kingpin. Do we call Marjorie a queen pin? Let's get back into our conversation. You know, Steve Harvey's going to see this. Someone asked me, aren't you scared of Steve Harvey? I said, shit. For what?
Ask you that?
Yeah, ask me. I said, he gonna come at you. I said, and do what? I'm from the streets of Memphis too. North Memphis to be exact. If Steve Harvey had wanted to do anything for Thaddeus, cousin pastor, whoever, he's had his opportunity. So I don't owe Steve Harvey anything. I think that this is a very revealing story. I think that a lot of things have come out in our conversation, almost an hour, that people wondered. They wondered, did he get you out of prison? People were wondering about the children and how he got the opportunity to change their names. Why would you give up your parental consent for Steve Harvey, another man, to have your children? And because I've teased this on social media, and I looked at the questions that people wanted to know, never had it been revealed that Mondre Harvey was involved in drugs.
Well, one thing for sure, I said that, and it definitely ain't about no slander, because I was very careful to make sure I don't slander nobody. I got the paperwork. I got my paperwork.
Paperwork of what?
Of showing what, how I protected her. I got Aunt Steve, the Judge Gibbons, she put a gag on me as far as Harold, on Harold, yeah. For
She
Harold.
put a gag on who?
Yeah, she went on me in court.
About what?
It's about Harold, when I was.
That you could never speak on
Because
Harold?
the reason I was trying to show the court the reason they had a hard on for me. It wasn't about drugs.
Okay.
It was about me and Harold, what I did with those tapes. You see what I'm saying? Because they was pissed off because I would corroborate those tapes.
Okay.
And, help send Harold to prison. I wouldn't do that.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So that's why they actually went and filed the paperwork to give me a life sentence. You see what I'm saying? They could have done. I had 3 strikes and out anyway, but they weren't gonna give me no life sentence.
You already had.
They didn't have no drugs. They didn't have.
You had 3 strikes.
Yeah, look petty. When you see, that's why a lot of black people, quick story, they don't understand. A lot of these youngsters don't understand with that 3 strikes. Because my 3 strikes was consisted of a half a gram of cocaine powder.
Okay.
And the second was a half an ounce
Okay.
of powder cocaine. You see what I'm saying? So this third one they had on me, ghost dope, based on my co-defendant's testimony that we did all this.
How much was the ghost? How much dope?
Well, and I tell about that in my book. They had multi-kilos. How much is multi?
That
could be from 2 to 2,000.
Okay.
They didn't put no amount on that because they didn't have the drugs.
Okay.
All the drugs they got me with was ghost dope, as they called it. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, that's how they railroaded me. But it was based really, it was just out of bitterness, you know what I'm saying, and vindictiveness, because I wouldn't do what they wanted me to do with Congressman Harold Ford. And Harold Ford was a snake because even then, all that time, he never did try to send me nothing or help me in prison. So, and when I met this man 3 months ago at my brother's funeral for the first time, I didn't even ask him nothing about that.
Your book.
Yeah, talk about my book.
This tell-all memoir.
No, it's the untold truth.
The untold truth.
Yes.
How does the audience get your book?
Well, they can go on my website, www.jimltownsend.com.
Okay.
And get the hard copy. You just click on the word shop, S-H-O-P, in the right-hand corner.
Okay.
And it'll take you exactly where you need to go. And I want to say, I'm kind of not patting myself on the back, but as a writer, I think I did a very, very, very good job. Ain't no ghost writing.
No, okay.
From the heart. So, yeah, so.
I guess in 27 years, shit, you can get your game down, you know.
Yeah, I had a lot of time to think about stuff in my life. And see, people going when they really read the book, it's real poignant, man. It's real touching because I take you all through my child abuse. You see what I'm saying? Seeing my mother go to domestic violence, my dad very abusive, you know, punching, kicking, and all that crazy stuff. And there's a lot of things going on in my life, and you know, I just tell all, you know, to the point to where my dad was chasing me at 5 years old with an axe.
Okay.
You know, I'm 5 years old. All that kind of crazy stuff was going on in my life, and really this book is just really a platform in closing. It's just a platform for me.
Okay.
I truly believe that God has given me, so I can stand on that platform, proclaim the gospel, and then go out and talk to these kids about the ills of using and selling drugs and about domestic violence and all of those things, you know. So that's what I really want to do, talk to the kids. That's what I want my platform to be. It really ain't about the money and none of all of that. It's just about being transparent and just telling you about my life. And that's what that is about.
Ladies and gentlemen, my guest today has been Jimmy L. Townsend. Did 27 years in federal prison, given a life sentence with no chance, absolutely no chance of parole. He wouldn't tell on the congressman.
Instagram audio.
He saved his gold-digging, drug-dealing wife, Marjorie Harden. So now you have the true picture, you have the true story. And he ain't got no reason to lie. After 27 years in prison, why are you gonna lie?
Instagram audio.
Now you know all the answers
Yes,
to
who's
the
this?
questions that you've been asking about
Hello?
Marjorie Harden and the children.
The what?
You know, we see her kids with Steve's kids, and
So
we
what
see
can I do for you?
the Brady bunch, a blended family,
So I don't do
Memphis.
Instagram calls.
and wherever his children come from. One big happy
So what can I
family.
do for you?
Living in the mansions in Atlanta.
So
Now
I'm in
we
a
know
meeting and I can
the
barely
true
understand
deal.
what you're saying.
Thank you for tuning in to this interview. There are more interviews to come.
Have a good day.
And we're going to put across the screen how you can get this book, The Untold Truth,
Snakes in the
by Jimmy Townsend.
Snakes in the Garden.
Huh?
It's called Snakes in the Garden.
Snakes in the garden.
The Untold Truth.
And he says she's a snake. He also says she's a gold digger. Now, one of the things, did she want the children to have his name? Because if anything happens to Steve, anything happens to her, who's in line next for the millions? Or is she teaching her children to be the same shyster and snake that she is? We'll let you think about that. Thanks for viewing.
If you wanna